Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing well today. My name is Reed and I'm going to be talking to you guys about what to consider when buying new technology. So firstly, I will be talking specifically about buying new smartphones and some things it is important to think about when you're buying them. Display is an important factor you should think about when buying a new smartphone. This means making sure it is bright enough to see outdoors, as well as making sure that text isn't blurry or illegible. Next, you should think about the resolution. When you buy a phone with a larger screen, the resolution should not be below 1920 x 1080p, and the best resolution is typically 2560 x 1440 Quad HD. Display is very important, and you should think about it when getting a new phone, as well as good display features can make it much easier to use. The next important thing to consider is the size of the phone. To visualize, phones are usually around the size of small tablets, and when choosing a new smartphone, you should think about how it fits in your hand and the way you hold it. Many people are looking for phones with larger screens because it makes it easier to see and use, but make sure to also think about some challenges that may come with it. Portability may decrease when the screen is larger, making it harder to carry or even fit in your pocket. Though having a larger screen may decrease portability, having a smaller screen may make the phone easier to lose track of and harder to read off. Battery is a very important thing to think about when choosing a new phone. The battery ideally lasts all day for convenience and to maximize usage. A larger phone that has a larger screen usually has a bigger battery, though having a larger screen could potentially drain the battery quicker. When your phone eventually runs out of battery, it is important that it is fast charging so you can use it once you have plugged it in for a short amount of time. One type of smartphone, Androids, usually come with a special fast charger which only takes minutes to raise the battery to at least 50%. A trick to think about when charging your Apple phone is to use an iPad charger for your iPhone to get more charge out of it. Next is the storage of the smartphone. We recommend buying a smartphone with at least 64 gigabytes of storage to make sure there's enough space for all of your photos and apps, which tend to take up more space than they did before. Some Android smartphones even have micro SD card slots that can increase your storage capacity if you feel you need more. Next are the cameras on smartphones. Buying a smartphone with a good quality camera is important for people who enjoy taking pictures. Those smartphones with good cameras tend to be higher in cost. There can be different phone cameras that are the best year to year because brands compete to have the best phone camera. The next factor to take into consideration is the age of the smartphone. Phones that have been refurbished are cheaper, but how old the phone is may influence if it is really worth it. It may not be worth it to buy a refurbished phone if it is 2 or 3 years old because it may not be able to receive software updates, which are critical to security and privacy. Certain apps also may not be able to update, and some app developers do not support older versions of their apps on older updates. If you are primarily looking for a phone to text and send emails on, a refurbished phone would be a great idea. Next is the company's reputation. This is very important. Brands such as Apple, Samsung, and LG are trusted companies. Other companies such as Blue, Huawei, and OnePlus have been criticized for many reasons. Some smartphone companies have also been found to send private information and data from their device users back to their headquarters, which is a very big breach of privacy. Another factor to consider is other features you would like your new phone to have. This may include stereo speakers, specifically audio from the top and bottom of the device, wireless charging, which may make using your phone more convenient, a headphone jack if you enjoy using wired headphones for calls, listening to music, or watching videos, and the ability for it to support 5G networks. Another feature to consider is whether or not the smartphone is waterproof or water resistant. Whether you choose to buy a phone with these features is based on what you plan to use it for and personal preference. Here are a few things to consider when buying a new tablet. Though the considerations are fairly similar to phones, also think about these few things. How are you planning to use the tablet? Are you thinking of buying it instead of a computer? If so, make sure you are able to prop it up and attach a keyboard. If you're planning to use it as a computer alternative, Consider buying one with more storage and that the screen is big enough. One other consideration you should make is whether you want to use the tablet on Wi-Fi or on a wireless data plan. Make sure to ask what kinds of connectivity the device supports. The next specific device I will discuss is buying new computers and what you should be considering. Firstly, processors. Processors are pieces of hardware that are inside of computers. They are the electronic circuitry that executes the computer program. They are important because they affect the speed that your computer completes instructions and functions. Having a high-quality processor will increase the speed that your computer processes information. This will help you to get more things done in a shorter amount of time. The speed of the processor depends on the processor cores, double core and quad core. RAMs are also important. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. In simpler words, it refers to a computer's short-term data storage. The RAM is responsible for storing the information that the computer is actively using to make sure information is not lost. When buying a new computer, you should look for one with at least 4 gigabytes to 8 gigabytes of RAM for casual daily computer usage, and from 8 to 16 gigabytes for a higher amount of usage. Storage. The storage of a computer is responsible for storing and accessing the data on a long-term timeline. Having enough storage space on your computer is very important and allows you to keep files, images, applications, and more on your computer. Storage is very important to have your computer running smoothly, and having at least 15% of available storage is a good idea. When you're looking into buying your new computer, you should think about the screen size. The usual screen size of a computer is between 11 and 17 inches. There are both positives and negatives to having a bigger screen. Laptops with larger screens tend to have less long-lasting batteries. Ask the person you are purchasing from about this. But they are also much easier to read for many people. Larger computer screens can also benefit proper computer ergonomics. One more thing to consider about the screen size is that it may make the computer heavier and harder to transport. As I mentioned before, while explaining considerations for smartphones and tablets, resolution is also important to think about for computers. Resolution involves how sharp the screen will appear. When looking at a new computer, you should look for one with a resolution of at least 1080p. For people looking to watch lots of videos and pictures on their computers, resolution is very important. Size and weight. When thinking about portability of your computer, you should look into computers that are 13 inches or smaller, so it is easy to transport. It is also typical to have a greater value of your computer when you purchase heavier or thicker laptops. This tends to be because heavier and thicker computers have a higher capacity for RAM, storage, display size, and many other things. An important note that I would like to mention is that desktops are different from laptops because portability and battery life are not relevant, and many people tend to buy 24-inch monitors when they are buying desktops. The next consideration is the operating system. This is more about your personal preference and past experience. Mac OS and Windows are both popular brands. Apple computers are known to be reliable because Apple products have the ability to link together and typically have better security, which is why many people prefer them. Switching between operators can make it harder while navigating, so I recommend that you stick to one brand. Other operating system brands include Chrome OS and Linux, as well as many other brands. Connectivity is very important when looking into a new computer. Examples of what you should look for include USB-C, USB 3.1 ports, HDMI, as well as headphone and microphone jacks. These are important features based on what you are using your computer for, but are good to have either way. Make sure you are aware that Apple computers have reduced the amount of connectivity options and only offer USB-C ports that require you to buy converters to plug in older attachments, which can be a hassle and a challenge. Integration with existing devices. If you already have connected devices and you are looking for all devices, including your new ones, to be connected, it is recommended that you have one brand for all of your technology to make it simpler, or OS, that you already use. If you are able to connect your devices, it is a lot easier to set up and back up your devices and store information. It is also helpful if you are unable to receive in-person help for transferring your data between your devices. Pricing. The average cost for a new computer is about $700, but can be much higher depending on what brand it is and the RAM, as well as storage and screen size. The price of the computer you are looking to buy is really based on your personal budget. Make sure to compare the price with what you are using it for. Investing in a more expensive one may be worth it if you will still use it a lot and prevent you from needing a brand new one sooner. It is also important to think about what you will be using it for. For example, if you want to use it for simpler tasks, such as emails, you can probably look into something cheaper and save money. Now is a great time to buy a new device if you are thinking about it. Back-to-school sales have either begun or will start soon at many popular retailers. Many U.S. states are also offering tax holidays on specific back-to-school items. If you would like to find new devices for lower costs, these store websites are a good place to look. Some will require student ID to take part in the sales, but lots do not. The store websites listed above are stores where you do not require student ID to receive back-to-school deals. Remember that you will be emailed this slides presentation later on and will be able to click on the links and find what you are looking for. Here are some more clickable links where you can find many deals on products. There are some examples of what the deals are listed below, beside the links. So you can take a look at this later when you receive the email. Here are the US states offering tax holidays on computers and other technology. The dates and states are listed below. So you can see that Florida is going to have tax holidays from the 7th to 9th, as well as Missouri and South Carolina. And then Massachusetts will be from August 29th to 30th, and New Mexico, August 7th to 9th, and Tennessee, July 31st to August 2nd. So make sure that if you're interested, you take advantage of these dates to buy new technology.